Hey, what's going on, guys? Frank Berry here from Tidally, coming to you live with another episode of Modern Church Leader. Really excited. We're in the new year. We've had some great guests on the show, and just talking to churches a lot about what it's been like to start the new year, what it's been like to do church through COVID, and kind of how church looks today, and how we're inspiring engagement and community and connection, even in this virtual world. So today, we've got some great guests coming on the show today, all the way out in Canada, in the cold, where I hear it's freezing. But we're going to talk about how to foster connection and community using digital tools, and just kind of keeping the church thriving. So without further ado, let me bring in my guests. And I am here, Darius, Erin, how's it going?
Hey, going good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. And like I said, when we hopped on at the very beginning before the show, you guys definitely have the best setup that I've seen yet. So I just want to give you props. Great background, great camera, good lighting, all the things.
Team, that's what I was going to say. You can thank our audiovisual team for that.
Yeah. Full setup. So are you guys like at the church right now in the building doing it?
Yep, we are.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, why don't you, I like to just start off just by giving people, a chance to get to know you guys. So I don't know if we want to go ladies first, and you can
always
give us your background, who you are, how you got into ministry, a little bit of your story.
Yeah, my name's Erin. I'm part of the worship team here. I'm one of the worship leaders at the Summit. I do worship with a band called Summit Sounds, which has been awesome. We have a new album coming out this year. Another 1 or 2 albums coming out. So if you want to check us out, you should check us out.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
I mean, everybody, real quick. So we generally have a good amount of live viewers. So give these guys a like and let us. Where can they go to find your
Summit Sounds Live is our handle. So
at Summit Sounds Live on Insta.
Summit Sounds Live on Insta.
And sorry, I'm just going to interrupt, but have you guys had a worship, putting out records, that kind of thing for a while? Is that part of your world?
Yeah, we've already had 2 records come out in the last time. Has it been 3 years now? I think it's been 3 years we've had 2 records come out. They've done pretty well on Spotify. They've done pretty well on Apple Music. You can find them anywhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And we have a devotional album. Actually, our pastor Nikki is down in Texas right now, helping to record our devotional album that we're having come out this year.
Yeah.
It's Spontaneous, and we have volume 3, hopefully in 2021. So there's a lot going on. So keep an eye on us.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But Erin, okay. So we went into music.
Yeah.
How long have you been with the church there? How long have you been serving, I guess, in the combined entity of your church?
Yeah. Well, since the beginning there was God, and I've been here also. I've been serving in the capacity of executive admin for 4 years now here. So I was serving the church, one of the churches that merged for many, many years beforehand. But since the beginning of the Summit here in Edmonton, I've been here. And I do worship, I do admin, I do leading our creative team, just stuff like that. Kind of, you name it, I do it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, being admin and worship seems like counter opposite
ends
of the universe. So that's pretty cool.
That was so funny. I was just talking about that yesterday, actually, with one of our other admin people. I'm like, sometimes I feel like I have to literally turn my creative mind off and then take out my spreadsheets and then turn my spreadsheets and turn my creative mind off. So it's a different balance, but I think I'm pretty leveled out, pretty even out.
In the admin role, is that things like technology and finance, or do you guys have a finance team as well?
Thank God, we have a finance team. Shout out to Tracy Belford. She's she's our main finance lady, and she's amazing. I feel like I can do all admin work except for numbers. So. Right. I mean, I could do it, I guess, if I tried, but she's much better than I am. So
yeah, totally. I mean,
run all the volunteers. I run all of our church management system. I run all of our scheduling, all of our building scheduling, things like that as well. Any events, that's all through me. So
okay, cool. All right, Darius, give me the background a little bit.
Well, in relation to the church here at Edmonton specifically, I just moved up here in March, actually. My wife and I, we were part of our Summit Church location in Florida, one of them in Florida.
Right.
And,
from Florida to Edmonton, nobody understands.
Nobody understands. The only thing, it was the word of the Lord.
It's
I'll tell you that, my brother. And it was, no, seriously, the founders of the Summit Global network of churches, movement, ministries, they founded that first church in Florida whenever they moved up here in Edmonton a 2 to 3 years ago, something like that.
In Edmonton, they moved, 3 years ago.
And so I didn't have a witness to come at all, any way, shape, or form. I said, listen, I'm born and bred in the South to go.
And his words were, I would die.
I would. Yeah, very true. And so I guess it really meant that I was dying to myself and saying yes.
That's right.
Whenever we had that witness. And so we actually were going to come up a little bit later. The Lord kind of shifted some stuff. We got up here, and a week later they shut the borders down. So we got here, just in time. And so, me and my wife is also part of Summit Sounds. She's one of our worship leaders here. And, it's really cool, just because we're not like a bunch of just different churches that happen to be a network, man. There's family, there's DNA, there's heartbeat, there's community there. Even Summit Sounds, I know, has like it's a collective of worship leaders, man, that do family together. And so it was really easy, even coming up here, me and my wife, and being part of the team. I serve like an associate pastor, teaching pastor role here. I oversee student ministries here, as well as for our Summit global community and stuff like that. So we do a lot of things. It's fun.
He also helps build the website and the app. So
I do that.
Y'all got crossover, but you're like tech folks and pastor folks.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And worship. Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah. And so Darius, are you also on the worship team?
Are you on the worship team?
They won't let me.
That's not true.
I'm not allowed either. So I understand.
You're a can of worms. The thing is that he can.
I'm glad you said that, friend. We've been praying. I'm glad you said. Listen, you're probably prophetic.
So he's also a songwriter. So we sang some of his songs and we give him a shout out. So.
Behind the scenes. I love it.
We'll talk.
Yeah. No, you guys are a blast to have on. So thank you guys. For anyone watching live, just make sure to give these guys a shout out. If you have any questions while we're going, we're going to jump into some things, but post them in the comments, anybody watching live, and we'll try to get to some stuff while we're going. I'm going to pop those open. So, let's talk a little bit about the church and kind of the impact of COVID. And I know that's nearly a year ago. It feels like it just happened. But pre-COVID, during COVID, and now, give me the story behind how COVID has impacted you guys.
Well,
so the thing with Canada, the thing with Alberta, where we're at, is we've gone through a lot of different restrictions with COVID. With the government of Alberta has really just kind of gone up and down with what they really are requiring of us. So pre-COVID, we were in an amazing time of revival and awakening, I think, in the city of Edmonton. In our small building, we were holding 3 services, jam-packed full of 3 services that people were sitting on the floors, we couldn't hold them. The doors were bursting.
Please, no fire marshals.
Exactly. That's exactly where we were at. Don't tell anyone.
Absolutely.
But it was an amazing time of the Lord was moving. And I feel like it was a huge impact for us to all of a sudden come head to head with. Do you remember what happened at first? We had to actually completely shut down, and we almost immediately had to run to only live stream services, which was a really big deal for us and a big deal for our people who are presence people. And so they love and family and community people. And so that had a huge impact on us. Just even in terms of not being able to gather together. So then we've kind of evened out, kind of gone here or there with what we've been allowed to have and how we've been able to host. We went down to 25% capacity for a while, and then we went to 15% capacity, and that's where we're sitting at now.
Okay.
So we're sitting at being allowed 15% of our allotted capacity.
Right. And how did it, when you got shut down,
Right.
Were you doing live streaming before and kind of all good, or was it brand new and you had to scramble to figure it out?
Well, we've always live streamed our East services. So all the services on our East location, we've always live streamed.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was we had to open a West location in the middle of COVID.
We had the hotspots.
Yeah, we had the hotspots.
What we called
right.
hotspots.
Yeah. Right. That's why initially, even with Tidally,
Yeah.
So right away we had to go down to only being able to host 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had created 8 different locations at one time per service for us to be able to host people.
I don't even know what that means. What do you, like 8 locations, like people sitting in the parking lot in small groups, or what was?
Yeah.
So we're really, really blessed because we have in a church of how many 100, 1,200, even at that point, we have 100 almost people on our worship team. So we were able to divide our ministry team and our worship team up between 8 different locations all at one time and host services for 50 people maximum.
Yeah.
So we did that for a while.
And you didn't have 8 buildings, I assume. Was this like in homes and things like that? Like you just kind of divided up, or parks, or?
We gathered in a field once.
Yeah, we gathered in the field once. We had a couple of different service times at one location, a couple of different at another location, and then we had some that were like outside locations, places where people were like, hey, we can host people in our backyard. So we just kind of made it happen. And the good thing is, even though we really streamed at one location, I love that you asked about the social media thing, because I know we had made a decision, 2 years ago, to like really invest in the media department, to be able to allow people to be seamlessly connected to what God is doing here. Yeah. And so honestly, whenever COVID came in, it was like, we were prepared. We were prepared. I mean, kind of prepared in that aspect, but we were like, we still need to get creative and figure out some stuff. So it really helped for sure.
Right. Because and I'm trying to kind of piece it together. So when it got shut down, like no capacity, everybody had to watch online for a minute for like some period of time.
A couple months there. I want to say it was like 8 weeks.
Okay. So it was a good amount of time. It wasn't like, a couple of weeks and then you were meeting in these small 50-person.
It was a good
minute. They opened it up a little bit, and that's when we went to those small 50-person groups. And then after that, they allowed us to have 50% capacity at worship services. So we went to that. Then they moved it down to 25% capacity and 15% capacity. The awesome thing, though, is that with Tidally, so the government of Alberta requires us to register people for services. So we have to go onto our website and sign up for services, and then register for one of our locations and one of our service times. And then we have to be able to check them in and track them all that way, just in case there's an outbreak or anything like that. So it really made seamless for us with Tidally, and we were able to just function now at 15% capacity. We're running 2 different locations. One we had to open up on the west end just to host the amount of people that we want with 2 services.
Right. I mean, I've not yet heard a story. I'm sure it's happening. I mean, it's not like I talk to a ton of churches, but I talk to enough. And that's the first time I've heard from a church that kind of went your route. Like, it almost seems like people are either all streaming or they're back in the building. And they keep streaming because there's some people that are high risk and things that need to stay home. But whereas you guys kind of went all streaming because you had to, and then you did this like, hey, we're going to have a bunch of like house churches, even though maybe they're not in houses and they're 50 people, and you're just going to go after it. And then the building came back. And so you're like all over the map. There's people doing all kinds of meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, number one, Canada is very different than what most of the churches in the States, for sure. We're just where we're at. Yeah. And number two, I'll say this, I feel like in a lot of ways, the way that people have just initially responded to COVID, you really kind of saw this polarizing kind of thing where people were either like all the way over here and it's like, we're not doing nothing, well, they're all the way over here and they're like, we don't care. We're going to do whatever, forget that, whatever. Yeah. But we really believe that one of the things that we set our heart to, I remember the first meeting that we had once everything got shut down, I mean, Pastor Nikki was in the office and she said, we as a team just need to pray for just the creativity of heaven, because we're going to choose to really engage and help to model an answer for the world. And honestly, we can probably get into that in a little bit, but we've had Alberta Health Services and like all the, and the government and whatever, like really show up in some ways, maybe a little bit too much probably than they needed to, but really like we had been able to engage in that, model an answer, even to be able to show other churches in the community, what we can do while being safe, being responsible, being honoring, and yet still doing what the Lord has called us to do here.
Right. What was the related? You mentioned health services. So what was the most stressful time?
Well, Erin,
Well, the thing
story.
Well, the thing is, like, so I run our entire admin team. So we have to have admin people at the door. We have to have them sanitizing when they come in, checking people in when they come in, maintaining social distancing.
Right.
So our ushers have to walk people to their chairs. Like there's a lot that goes into making sure that we're keeping our people safe, because that's actually really a big conviction of ours.
Yeah.
And to honor 100%. What the government of Alberta has set in place for us. So it's a hugely strong conviction of ours. But there was one day where we've had it's basically the Alberta government show up to each one of our services at each of our locations and be like, hey, we're about to shut you guys down. We're like,
big operation.
We promise we're doing our best. We promise. And anyways, it ended up fine. Yeah. I think it they were actually pleasantly surprised by how well we were holding true to what they had set for us. And we really want to honor them. I think for us, it's been a big deal because we want to show them, like, when this whole thing is over, like, it's not going to be us versus them.
That's right.
When this whole thing is over, we're in this together. And so we wanted to show them that we honor them and we love them, and we're trying to do the things that they want us to do. So I think it was stressful. That was one of our more stressful days. Yeah. But since then, listen, let me tell you, we've come into great relationship with the Alberta government surrounding this type of thing. And I actually think we're modeling something. Like you said, Darius, we're modeling something for other churches who are able to, like, who are feeling like they can't even function at this time. Yeah, seriously. You know, you can do it.
Yeah.
And so fast forwarding to today, you're at 15% capacity in the physical locations, and you have a couple services, it sounds like 2-3 services going on. Do you still have a good chunk that are just worshiping virtually online? And and are you doing the 50-person group thing in other places, or is it all just like people that are coming in person or in the building in the 15% capacity?
Yeah, well, you know, honestly, because things keep changing pretty regularly, we have to always make sure that we're, you know, checking in on like what we're allowed to even do.
Yeah.
But we are at the 15% capacity. So, you know, during those hotspots, like I said, 8 locations, one of those locations ended up being our West location that we were talking about doing anyway. We ended up just kind of launching it right there in that moment. And so that location,
like launched the campus in COVID. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude,
exactly
it's crazy.
In the middle of COVID, we had to open another location.
Man. Yeah, and so that one has 2 services, and then on our East location we have 3.
Okay.
And so, you know, we do still kind of have stuff throughout the week, like our, you know, like youth gatherings and stuff, and like prayer meetings and things like that. And so there are tons of opportunity for people to be able to gather in safety, you know, underneath protocol and things like that. But yeah, definitely there's still a big chunk watching online for sure.
Yeah.
What do you say to people that are kind of struggling with that, with like thinking through this, like other pastors, other church leaders, folks that are watching or will watch it later on, like, you know, maybe they can't, maybe they're still locked down, or maybe they don't have the ability to do some sort of limited capacity thing, or maybe they rent a building, they don't even have a building, but so they're missing the in-person, right? Because church is meant to be like with the people, like it's the family, and you want to, you know, see people, hug people, and they're trying to figure that out, but haven't, you know, either haven't figured it out or haven't been bold enough to make kind of a step or whatever. Like I don't know, any advice, any tips, any anecdotes from your guys' experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, the biggest system that we run and the machine that holds it all together actually is family.
Yep.
And so putting family first and putting relationship first, that's first and foremost the most important. Like, it's our relationship with the Lord is number one, obviously. But like when it comes to running the church system, family first, always, over everything. Yeah. You know, and it's not a cog of moving parts that we have to really like man, except for just like our inner man loving the inner man in another. And it's been really even we have noticed just the loneliness and depression and anxiety that comes with this time. You know, we're fully aware. And for us, it was a conviction to keep our doors open until they told us that we had to, that we were no longer allowed. Because even I want to say in the last year, it has been a year of COVID. But in the last
we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah, exactly. Happy birthday, COVID. Even in the last year, it's been that we have seen like countless people come in who just need the presence of the Lord. They just need a room full of family and a room full of believers just to take them out of that place of loneliness, out of that place of depression. So it's the conviction of us as the church family and as the church body to be a place of safety where they can come, you know?
Yeah. And I'll speak to that too. And I don't know if you were going to like ask something about this, but I'll just kind of throw this in right here. Frank, man, like, to be honest, you know, I feel like a lot of people, you know, have had this idea that when it comes to like church and comes to raising leaders, we're going to teach people how to build their brand. We're going to teach people how to strike while the iron's hot. We're going to teach people how to maximize on numbers. And I'll be honest, man, like that hasn't done anything. And truthfully, you know, what happens is you begin to like create a business instead of creating a culture of family and where the Lord can like really reside. And so there's a lot of people that haven't known what to do because all they know, honestly, Frank, our mission during this time in COVID was never to stay relevant.
Yeah.
The whole
or
mission
to stay open.
The really the whole idea and purpose was like, how do we keep people burning? How do we keep people connected with the Lord, connected in the place of family, even during this time? And so again, with Tidally, I'll just shout you guys out, man, because, it's not just the fact that, we use you guys so that we could have brand management and stuff like that. You guys really have allowed us to receive a tool to be able to facilitate what the fullness of the mission is. And I know that's your heart too, Frank. I mean, I know.
Totally. No, I mean, dude, the show's not a pitch show, but I love it. So thank you for the shout out.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead, Erin.
We couldn't do it without you guys. So
appreciate that. And shout out to DK. We know you guys love him.
Gosh, we love
my
you.
dog. David Kill, man. Love you,
bro. On the tech side of things, like, how have you guys done anything? So maybe not Sunday service or any kind of midweek kind of stuff, prayer meetings, but small groups, things like that. Has Zoom been your go-to, or some kind of video meeting software? Has that become part of how you operate?
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of
you're like, I hate Zoom. No, I'm just
I was gonna say.
Listen, I have my Star Wars background that I use for every single Zoom meeting.
Erin likes to say that she's not a millennial, but statistically, she actually is a millennial.
Gosh, I'm right on the edge.
Yeah,
I'm on the edge too, Erin. I know. I think I'm Gen X, technically speaking.
My husband definitely is Gen
X.
Gen X. Sure. My husband is Gen X, but like they like to make fun of me and say that I'm a millennial. But I don't feel a millennial.
But it's true. Either way, what my point is, with Zoom, a lot of people, especially the older community, which isn't bad. Not a knock on them, did not want to do like the whole, I don't want to use those gadgets and use those apps, get that off my phone. That's what my mom says.
Right.
But it really came to a place to where we had to come face to face with like, listen, either we're going to do this or not. So Zoom definitely was huge. Moving meetings to Zoom, it's obviously it wasn't fun, right? Like you'd rather be in person. But I think, man, if you really had the faith to believe that God could still move in those things, then 100% they've been fruitful for us. So again, Zoom was huge. It's where we did meetings at. Our staff, of course, kind of like a cohort, got to be together for those meetings. But for everybody else, it was on Zoom. Were you asking too about like Tidally and like the website? How do we use that stuff too?
Yeah, I mean, any. I guess I'm trying to like just tease out like what kind of tech has been really important to you guys. What are some of the you guys have done right to use it effectively?
Yeah, well, big shout out to you guys too. Again, I mean, I know we're on your platform right now, but I just want to say, man, how this all happened is whenever we heard about you guys and we kind of look. I remember Pastor Chris actually before COVID like really got bad. I think he already was like, hey, we should get a church app.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be really cool. And I've heard of this thing called Tidally. We've had a lot of friends that have had Tidally, like somebody I know personally, like Mark Casto and them in Covington, Georgia at the Shepherd Center. Like they use Tidally, and I actually was talking to them and saying, what do you guys like about it, things like that. We had Hope Farms, one of our ministries here, that had it. Mm-hmm. And so it really became this thing where we recognized that you guys have an app, you guys have like a website building platform, you have all these things, and it's like, bro, we could really just revamp everything right now and structure it around being able to, because a lot of people had to totally tear down their systems and find a whole nother way of doing things. So you guys really have to provide that. And so we have to register for services right now, because we have to we're not reporting to the government, but if something happened, we have to, we're liable for that. So we have to have all that information. So registering for services, like you guys' church management system has allowed that, managing our teams for like worship and stuff like that, for, preaching, transitions, baptisms, when we have those things like that, all of that stuff, we were able to utilize, and people literally got to just get on their phones, go to our church app. The first thing that they see, click register, click live stream if you're not comfortable coming in person, all that stuff. And so it was such an easy way to keep people seamlessly connected to the whole body in itself. And so that Zoom, all that was good.
I think the thing is too, that beforehand, we were still using a bunch of different systems. Like we had a bunch of different church management systems, bookkeeping systems. What we were using as a platform for our website. We didn't have an app at that point, but it really was the app for us that pushed us over the edge to want to streamline all of our systems into one thing. So it was a little bit crazy right at the beginning. I'm not going to lie to you. Do you remember that?
Like switching anything, right? Especially if you're switching more than one thing, that's just work. Like it
migrated our people for us.
You did migrate all of our people for us, so that was very helpful.
Hey, amen. That was oh gosh, I'm literally spacing on their name. It's our data migration team, Preston and crew. Preston probably did all that
It's a lot of work. And so we commend you guys for that. But also, like, for us, we had changed from using 4 different, like, basically church management systems, different, like, ways of incorporating all of our people and all of our services and all those things, all of our scheduling. And then we merged it right into one during the beginning of COVID. So it was a little bit crazy, but it was good because everything slowed down. But then we just realized we really needed an app. And that actually, the app has been what has been a game changer for us.
I mean, love that. And how are you guys using the app? You mentioned check-in, like walk us through just on a weekly basis.
Let's do it. Let's walk you through there.
Yeah, please.
You got the cool little right here, boom, boom. Oh, it's probably really bright. You probably can't even see it.
Yeah, it was starting to come through.
It says welcome home. You've got church online. It shows, when our live streams are on there. We've got registration.
Yeah, we have our live stream on there.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Ways that you can connect on here. Scheduling a visit or like a meeting, our newcomers room that we have that you guys can sign up for. And here, partnering, we've got all of our messages. Our podcast is automatically on here as well. We've also got like a prayer and testimony wall that whenever people need prayer or people have to, because a lot of times, like in this crazy time of COVID, like people aren't hearing the good stuff that's happening. Like God is still moving. Like people are still getting healed. People are still getting saved. People are still having breakthrough in their body financially. And so like we get to see that and celebrate with people.
We spend a chunk of our time during staff meeting just reiterating positive testimonies of things the Lord has done. And the Lord is still moving during COVID. Like God is still getting the glory during COVID. So
what is the name of your church app real quick? I'm going to download it while we're chatting.
The Summit Edmonton. I'm pretty sure it's just the Summit Edmonton. I could be wrong.
I'm positive.
Pretty sure. I'm positive. Yeah, she's positive. The Summit Edmonton.
Got it.
It's been really awesome. So you have to go on there and you click register. It takes you to both locations. And then it takes you to a service that you want and you just sign your family up.
Oh yeah. There's we also during COVID, we kind of had these like daily devotionals that we did. So that like screen or the what's it called? The little widget. You can click on those and watch those too.
You can give directly on the app.
Give directly. So much, man. So much.
It's been really amazing. That for us too, because when you're not just speaking frankly, like when you're not coming in person, you're not giving in person.
Yeah.
So people still want to give. People want to give to the mission. And so it's trying to find the most streamlined, the simplest way for people to still stay connected to family and connected to church. Like they want to do it. So we found that it's been so helpful for us.
Oh, yeah. Do you promote it often in like during service or in like a newsletter? Like, are you kind of always on with the, hey, make sure you download the app because that's how you can check in to come to church? Is that part of your like regular communication?
Yep. We communicate that like during announcements, whenever we're doing stuff. It's on our website. It's on that front page.
Right.
We're always making sure to say it, of course, for sure. And we're still not everybody's gotten it yet, but we're working on it.
For sure.
The millennials for sure.
The millennials got it. Gen Z's got it.
Gen X's and beyond, we're not sure yet.
We're not sure. I'm not quite sure. I'm not.
Yeah. I don't know about those apps.
I bet you they're tracking me with those apps.
Oh man.
Church. So how did you mentioned giving and obviously giving, it's not the main point of church or anything like that, but it is an indicator of, maybe people's walk with God, how things are going. Maybe if they're getting disconnected from the church, and in COVID, it's like, you might not see them in the building, but were they in a small group or a Zoom meeting, or did they give, or did they register to come to one of the smaller services? Like, you're using all these things to, I guess, pay attention to, the 1,200-1,500 people that are like in your flock. Like, how do I care for all these people? How have you seen giving go when COVID hit through now? Was it pretty consistent because you had online giving already, or did you see these ebbs and flows or spikes or dips?
Because I was just asking Tracy, our bookkeeper, about it last week. And what did she say? Something like 40% are e-transfer now, and like 30% are, no, it's 40% all straight through Tidally. So all of our giving is like through the app or through our text to give with you guys, which is a huge deal. That's a game changer. Text to give has been amazing for us. And then 30% is something like e-transfer and online. And then 20% is in person, which is like a super crazy shift and change.
Which even the online
Which all the online stuff is all through Tidally. So just a huge.
Was it like flipped before COVID? Was it more like maybe 20% was kind of digital and 80% was like cash and check?
Yeah, we're really blessed with such a generous community here, and they've really just. I feel like we almost haven't missed a step, and we're really blessed. Like this year alone,
our goal
was $250,000 to give away to other ministries or to people in need or the hungry or orphans or widows. That was our goal pre-COVID. Pastor Chris had that number in his mind. He was like, we're going to give away $250,000 this year. And we were over $320,000 this year during COVID, during like the biggest financial strain of what they'll say is like historically happening in Canada, I'm sure. But like we have seen the people take care of others, like we have a benevolence fund where we take up offerings for orphans, widows, the hungry, or to give to local ministries. And our church has given over $320,000 away this year. And it's been phenomenal to see. That's
really cool. That's cool. And look, the transition to digital, I think every church is seeing it in some form, and I guess, I don't know. It's just cool. Like your guys' story is really cool. And maybe we'll kind of wrap it up with a question or two about just like, how are you inspiring or keeping people connected? Like you have people coming on the, have this limited capacity stuff, but I can't imagine that's like everybody, so like, what else are you guys doing that's really keeping the family connected?
Well, I'll be honest, man, we did early on, we did like a call. So like all of our staff had like which was a lot of people, had like a section of phone numbers. Yeah, we've done a couple of times. But we just called everybody. We did a call out of all of our congregations and people that are, in our database and stuff like that. That was really awesome for them. Again, I mean, connecting with them on social media, like we do post kind of like throughout the week. In the month of January, we spend every night in prayer and worship. And so, that's an opportunity for people to kind of come and be present. We're constantly praying for people, and I think really just our intentionality, because that's the thing, right? Like if you do the most that anybody has ever done during the season, somebody is going to feel like, I just feel like you're not really doing enough, and so really I would say to people, like, give yourself some grace. And like, as long as you know that you're doing the fullness of like what the Lord has put in your heart to do, then I'd say really celebrate that. And that's the thing, like I've heard people say like, oh yeah, only 1/3 of the people that left church during COVID are going to come back, especially these young people did it. And honestly, Frank, bro, I think that's garbage.
Me too.
I really believe that, if our heart is not to like franchise people, but it's actually to see people encounter the Lord and have their lives changed and come into family. Like that's the thing, if you have to build it on your personality, you're not going to keep it. But if you build it on the foundation that is the Lord and in his presence, man, like, so we make sure that we're putting out like moments of worship. We're making sure that we're putting out, moments of testimonies and stuff like that. We had a powerful testimony a couple of weeks ago of someone that came out of just this crazy lifestyle, man. And I mean, it just puts tears in my eyes myself, because I'm like, like the Lord is still doing stuff. And I think being able to show people that, not for the sake of us, but to allow people's faith and hope to arise, because there's a lot of people that are full of hopelessness that are there. I'm up here in Canada, man. I've had like 5 people in my family pass away during COVID that I haven't been able to be present with that. And that it stinks, but I still trust the Lord because I'm watching him still move in a bunch of other arenas. So
I do feel like if your heart really is for family and for the Great Commission and to see the lost saved, you're not going to go wrong. Like they are going to come to a place of hope. We really have seen, I was going to say this earlier, but we've probably seen, I want to say between 600 and 700 people come in and say, like, I was on the edge of committing suicide.
Literally.
I was on the edge of like being done with life, just with COVID in general, just with loneliness and with depression, just rampant in my home, and coming in to this place. There could be only 15% capacity, but knowing that the presence of the Lord is there, and I'm in a room full of people who love me and value me and want me and who are springboarding hope. I think that's really, really what the church needs and what the people need at this time. You know, the message of Jesus really is not anything that we can conjure up or or make pretty or build systems around, but just Jesus himself is enough.
That's right.
So it's been just the message of Jesus, I want to say.
Yeah.
Love that. You guys rock. This has been super fun. Where can folks go to just check out the church, check out your guys' work albums? Like, what's the spot?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you can visit our website, thesummitchurch.ca. And the CA is so weird for all you Americans. I don't, I'm getting used to it too. The Summit Church.
There's a few Summit churches, so thesummitchurch.ca, y'all. Someone will put it in the comments too. So.
Yeah, for sure. Facebook, the Summit Edmonton, or Summit Church Edmonton, the Summit Edmonton on Instagram. You can come and find us. Of course, Summit Sounds Live. Listen, we love hosting the presence of the Lord and worshiping. And so I think everybody will be really blessed, especially in this time. So go get those couple albums, man. That's really awesome too. Yeah. But shout out to our pastors too. I just want to say that. I don't want to get all shout outy, but listen, pastors Chris and Nikki are our leaders here, our apostolic leaders of our Summit Global Movement, man. I tell you,
follow them.
Follow them. They have really, the only reason why we're able to even be where we are, that we're even communicating this, is because, there's a mother and father in the faith that had vision and a heart to really see God do some special stuff during this time. And so really, really thankful for them as well.
We are. We love them.
Man, that's awesome. It's awesome when you feel that way and want to honor, the senior pastors, and
we love them.
Yeah, special.
Really cool. Well, guys, it's been great. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, man.
Everybody watching live, man, give these guys a shout out. Go follow them on Instagram. We'll stay in touch, and I'll make sure to send DK the shout out as well.
Yeah, you better. We love that guy.
Love you, DK.
We love you.
Love you, Frank, man. Thank you so much, bro. Tidally's doing some special things, man, and we appreciate you guys. Love y'all.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate you guys. And thanks everybody for watching online. If you're joining us, appreciate you. And we'll be back same time, same place next week.
Awesome.
See you guys.
See ya.